Get that trash out of here. Get that trash out of here.
Zombie apocalypse.
So we got my man Rob here with his Paleozoic deck profile, guys. And I really want to go ahead and first off say that this guy's been playing the trap decks for the longest time. So if there's anyone who's a true pro, true master of the trap strategy, is definitely going to be my boy Rob. Satellar Knight champion, Paleozoic champion, and now that the ban list actually unhit the Toad, which really didn't really need to be hit in the first place, now we got my man Rob back at it again with his bullshit. So go ahead and hit it, Rob, with your Paleozoic decks.
What's up, guys? Yeah, longtime viewers of the channel know my history with Paleozoic. They know I think this is one of the first profiles that I was giving you consistently, and I've always had an affinity towards like this deck. I always felt like whenever I can try it, I try it. And I bought the core in April before the ban list that put it to 1. And then it slowly got like 1 Toad back, 2 Toad back, 3 Toad back. So I just wanted to try it. It's fairly good going first. Like it's really good going first. Like Toad and like trap cards is still really oppressive. And the amount of normal trap cards we have on the list are really good. Like we have Torrentials at more than 1, Compulses at more than 1. We have Trap Trick now. And we have Ice Dragon's Prison and Permanence. There's just a lot of good cards in this deck that make it more feasible going first. And then going second, you play hand traps in your deck now. Like you don't just play like Floodgates and Mirror Force cards. You just play like Paleo. But it's still the core 8, so it's still 3 swap, 3 dupe. Yeah, these have not changed, unfortunately. I still only have commons. Really sad. Really, really sad. But you don't maximize on this one because it's the worst one to draw. This is like all right to draw because you just said it. But you want more in your deck for Toad summoning because Toad summoning dupe is still a powerhouse and then swap's the best one. Before I get into it, I'm not playing the Dragoon version of this deck that played Sanguine Tour Guide. I just felt like that was too like inconsistent and like drawing Tour Guides was really bad. Drawing Dark Condition Red Eyes were really bad. And like this deck doesn't have a way to put the Red Eyes Fusion back. So if you draw Red Eyes Fusion, your only play with it is going like activate Red Eyes Fusion. So I wasn't like the biggest fan of it, but that's still an option you have for this deck. I've lamented for more like control-y in a sense. So as if for the main core Paleos, then your 6 monsters I think should be in every deck right now. 3 Ash, 3 Nib. So you can simplify the game. So where if you go first, it's like you go first with an extra trap card, but this deck wins in super simplified game states where you're controlling the game with like trap cards and hand traps. So just playing these so that their turn 1s aren't as overpowered compared to what your turns 1s are really important. And then you also have that these are good cards to draw when you go first as well, because all your Paleozoics are unaffected by monster effects. So you can float Paleos and then Nibiru, and then your Paleos don't die, which is really cool. So you can still have like a Toad follow-up. And then Ash is the most generic right now. Like it hits Barrage, it can hit like a Thoroughblade, it can hit some of the Virtual World cards. Like all in all, it's really good. It also hits Misk, which is another power card. And then where the hell is my one spell card?
It hits Misk. But have you read Misk, Rob?
Have you read Misk? It hits the graveyard effect. Like the summon from deck that gets you into Baby Jewel Dino. And yes, I've read Misk too many times. I wish the last time I read Misk was next to the ban section in the ban list. But no, Konami has to keep that stupid card at 3, but whatever. Anyway. The one spell is Scapegoat. It's a power 1 of. If you see it, you see it. The deck has a lot of flex extra deck spots that most of the time you're not gonna be able to make anyway. Like you really only want to make Toad and like random link monsters. You never really want to like go all out. But this lets you make it makes you make Access Code, Appaloosa, Crusadia Avermax, which is just like an insane card. And yeah, I wish I could play more, but this card's like stupid unfair, like in a slower format. That's fact. And then for the actual Paleozoic trap cards, it's I only play 9. I only play 3 of the Dynamiscus, 3 of the Book of Moon, and 3 of the MST. I don't play the Foolish, the Draw, or the Return from Banish. The Return from Banish and the Foolish don't really do anything. The format's so aggressive. You need cards that are always proactive. And like these cards, even though Book of Moon isn't really that good, it's really good against Zoo. It's really good against not Paleo, I'm sorry. It's really good against Zoo. It's really good against Pranked. It's really good against like all the roguish decks that like don't have a normal summon effect starter, but they have like a normal summon, and then you just like play along with it. Dynamiscus is insane. Banishing cards is always gonna be broken. And then MST is MST. Like whenever you play against like main deck control decks, like having this card in your main deck's really good. And then Morella sending one wasn't doing anything. Like literally foolish barreling one card does not matter because like that could have just been an actual trap card that you can extend the game with. Yeah, it's only 9. It's devolved a lot from the maths numbers. I think if you had played like 14 before. Then 3 infinite, so it's more hand traps. 3 Ice Dragon's Prison. I think this is the best card, the best trap card printed all year. This card's actually just insane. Double DD Crow, and then you trigger a Paleozoic on top of it. Like it's so good, especially because it's trap trickable. Like this card's nuts. And then 3 Strike. Strike I think is also really good. No Judgment in the main because Strike is really good going second. So Judgment is not good going second because you can like flip trap cards into a board and then chain a Strike to negate a monster effect, and it breaks apart the board. But if it's a Judgment, you can't do that. So I side the Judgment. I didn't mean it. You only miss it when your opponent plays a spawn trap move on the main deck. But not a lot of decks are doing that right now, except for like Zoo. Then so I play a mirage of 2 of trap cards. I play 2 trap trick because this card's terrible to open in multiples, and like you see it when you really like need to see it. Like you'd rather just draw the. But then to go with it, I play 2 D barrier, 2 torrential, and 2 compulse. So my theory was originally I was playing 3 torrential, 3 compulse, but I wanted something to help me against Dragoon decks and against like Zoo. So the D barrier is really good when they go Vert Anaconda effect. You chain D barrier, call Fusion. It was really good against Infinite Noble Knight before because you just call Synchro after they make Link Cross. Because they Link Cross summon 2 tokens and you just D barrier them, they can't really like do anything. And D barrier with like Torrential and Strike is really good because like you play against like Dragoon and then you go activate Torrential. They might negate it, they might not get it, but then you chain D barrier and then you might have a Strike on top of it. So these are really fine. I don't think I'd play more of any of them. If anything, Torrential might be the third because it's really just good in a slower format when you're playing against like Zoo and Eldritch and like Pranked. That's another deck that's really scary too. That this deck has a decent matchup going against first.
Eldritch?
And that's the main deck. It's Pranked. Because like they normal summon, you either compulse it, you book a moon it, you D barrier, there you're fine. I got tokens. No, sorry, I'm just looking at these 2 beautiful tokens right here.
World class.
Then for the extra deck, 3 Toad. You always play the maximum number of you can of this card. This is the one you predominantly make. Yeah, I'm very happy this card's back at 3. But it wasn't doing anything at 1. It wasn't gonna do anything at 2. I doubt it's gonna do anything at 3. Like, I think it was more of a preventative hit because the Mermail support was coming out in Edco, so they probably didn't want this deck to be like full power, especially with like Bahamut Shark and the Mermail support, but it's not going to do anything. That deck is literally just a VFD deck. And at that point, why don't you just play Virtual World, you know? Then 1 Opabina, 1 Animalcars. You don't need 2 of this anymore. You don't need any of the Link 2s or the Rank 2s. Like, you just want to play the Paleo ones. Like, you played Daigusto Phoenix and Cat Shark for like offensive pressure, but you can just make like good Link monsters, and that gives you the offensive pressure you need. And you only really need like 1 of each because you summon it, you use the effect for it, and then you link it off in most cases. Then for the extra deck, 2 Link Rebo, 1 Link Spider. This is for the Scapegoat. I play the 1 Link Spider because you can turn a Paleozoic trap into it. So, and there's random scenarios where you need an effect monster to make like Axis Coat Augur, or you need a monster with different name to make Appaloosa. Then 1 Miststar. You don't really summon it that much. Most of the time you summon Coral Anemone, which is a monster born for water monsters with 1500 or more attack. So in most cases, you just like Coral Anemone. Instead of making a Miststar, you Coral Anemone, summon back, swap again. You send another, and then you have a follow-up for next turn because you'll always have a run on life. And then Phoenix Unicorn, because Nightmare's a really good utility with a Scapegoat. Then Appaloosa, just good generic rank Link 4.
Right.
Crusader Avermax. This card's super hard to out. I was playing IP before, but making IP with this very rarely came up. But whenever this card summons, you like win the game. It's super hard for decks out. It can't be can't be destroyed by card effects, and then it's a no, I'm sorry, it can't be targeted, and then if it goes to battle a monster, it gains the attack. So it's really hard to out. Like you have to out it with non-targeting stuff, and if you make it with IP and non-destruction either, but there's no room for IP. If anything, I might cut like one Link Rebo maybe. Because you need the double Link Rebo for weird scapegoat lines where you have to go like Link Rebo, summon. That's primarily when you're making access code. You like need the Link Rebos to Reborn, so sometimes you have to use two.
And you
access
thought
code
about
because
putting
like
in a Mrs. Radiant in there for 2 scapegoat tokens?
because you can just make Link Rebo, or technically you can make IP with 2 scapegoat tokens. Like there's no need for like the Mrs. Radiant. Like you did that before because you didn't have enough cards that can be linked with tokens. So like you didn't have Link Rebo, you only had 3 Link Spider, and you didn't have like IP and like Firewall. So you needed the 3 effect monsters, but now you have other cards that you can play besides misses. Like if anything, I probably will cut the extra Link Rebo for an IP Masquerena and looking at the extra deck a little bit more. But other than that, like, there's nothing I can possibly think of. Maybe a Boral Sword instead of access code. But access code, just removing actual threats from the board is really good. Is really
like
important.
A budget option.
Because sometimes the deck... Yeah. Well, Boral Sword itself is still like, I think like 10, 11 bucks, but it's better compared to like the $60 access code talker. That is a lot less. And that's the extra deck. And then I'll do the side deck, because my side deck for this deck is actually like really interesting.
Sure.
So 3 Sphere Mode and 3 Lava Golem. Since you're playing a trap deck, I'm more inclined to make my side deck going second. So what I did was I played the 9 best going second cards as I can play, being a Sphere Mode, Lava Golem, and Evenly. Your deck doesn't need its normal summon. You can literally just set 3 and it's fine. So you can like just Lava Golem them, and then like Dynamiscus it, or you just like you Sphere Mode them, and then you just don't care because you can like not book a Muna, but like if they summon another dude, you just book a Muna, it's fine. And then Evenly because of a trap card. And it's still just double out whenever it resolves.
Right.
I didn't want to play Kaijus. I think it's not like the one monster isn't as impactful considering this deck is so slow. And I thought like more hand traps wasn't doing anything because decks were inherently playing through hand traps. I think just like getting rid of the board is like way more impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Then the 3 Judgments, because if you're not maining it, you're siding it. You need this at least in your side deck for Lightning Storm, Twin, Cosmic, Duster, Reboot, Evenly, Dank. Like there's so many cards like that are blowout cards against trap decks that Judgment just like prevents. Because like if you don't like but the problem is if you play this card in your main deck, like I said before, you run the risk of drawing it going second. It's not really playable going second. Then 2 Heavy Storm Duster for the mirror matches. Or not the mirror matches, but I guess the mirror match technically if you play Paleo. But if you play a Paleo mirror in 2020, that's OD. It's more for like the control decks, like your yeah. So if you play against like other control decks, like going first against like Zoo, this isn't that bad. They have, like Barrage and like the trap cards like IDP. Because Ice Dragon's Prison is like really good against this deck too. Because like everything's in Aqua, everything's in Aqua. So if you go like banish Swamp Frog, summon Ronin Totem, they chain IDP, and they banish the Ronin, so now you're like really screwed. So you just need this as a preventive hit. And you play against like L, which this card blows out every trap deck, especially with Trap Trick.
Right.
And I did not play 3 because I wanted 1 Imperial Order in my deck because I only played 1 spell card.
I want to go ahead and thank you so much, Rob, for the profile. Paleozoic Frogs, back at again at full power. So it's going to be really exciting to see, if the Paleozoic actually goes ahead and makes it back into the format. Like we said, the format's trying to slow down a little bit more. The Dragon Link's taking a hit. The Infernoble's taking a hit, hard hit. So with these hits to these top decks, can we see Paleozoic come back? I think it's definitely a possibility. Rob, you definitely consider this a tier 2 deck, right?
Yeah, I'd say high tier 2. If you
2?
play it correctly, yeah, I think if you play it correctly, so part of it also always depends on the player. Like If
Right.
you give a decent player a rogue deck, it's gonna look more decent than if you give like a terrible player a rogue deck. Like let's say, okay, what's a
That
good
makes sense.
example?
I understand.
If it's like if you give Jesse Cotton to Paleozoic, and then you give me Paleozoic, Jesse Cotton's gonna make Paleozoic look a way a lot better than I would. You know,
That make it
so
look sexy.
I feel like that. Yeah, so I feel like it's the same vein where it's like if you play the deck correctly and actually know how to play the deck and you know like smaller interactions, the deck is very very good going first or going second. But when you play it like most people try to play trap decks like a monkey, where you're just like me flip trap card, me stun you. Oh no, I didn't go first, I lose. Like when you play it that way, like it doesn't look as good.
Right. Right, for sure. But after a playtesting, of course, you gotta make sure that you give it up to yourself as first. Again, trap deck, trap deck god over here. But thanks so much
The
again,
trap.
Rob,
Oh.
for the paleo profile. We'll be back at again. I'm gonna try to do like a 12 days of Christmas where I'm gonna see what I can do to upload as much as possible leading up till Christmas. Given that I have time here and there, but we'll see how that goes. So thank you so much again, Rob, and we might have some more in store for y'all watching at home as far as maybe potential more deck of the month ideas. So stick around for more. Go ahead and leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Get that trash out of here. Get that trash out of here.